And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com. As always, visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. They will deliver it from the app right to your house, pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or Wednesday through Sunday, lunch and dinner. Get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% and get yourself. Look, I don't care if, look, I love City Beat. They've been voted number 2 in multiple categories the last 2 years. They're the number 1 chicken spot in the city. So get down there, pump it up, 15%. Chicken tenders, chicken dunkers, incredible fried chicken, crinkle fries, coleslaw, incredible Galactic sauce. Make it happen. All right, Aaron, let's get this show on the road. We had an awesome BCJ podcast tonight with Dustin Grutza, talking about the Cincy Reigns collaboration with Rheingeist, getting some great stories about his career. Like, that's the wild thing about Dustin Grutza, that like he had his hand in all of that. The Antonio era, the BK era. He was roommates with Jason Kelsey and Connor Barwin, and like Travis was sleeping on their floor.
He was in a quarterback room with Mock and Travis and Pike.
Yeah. You know, so it was really, really good stuff.
Caleros.
Loved having Dustin on. Got some great stories out of him. I had another hour of stuff I wanted to talk to him about. And
I was curious how long that was going to go. I didn't know if you guys were going to get to anything else.
I was like, he was like, how long? You know, he's got a little one. He's got a wife. Like, you know,
I can relate.
Like, how long? I was like, 30 minutes is usually the window. Sometimes we go long if the conversation is good. But once we got to like 50 minutes, and I was like, all right, if we start, the problem was we had a great 50-minute conversation. If we started the next path of conversation, it was at least another half hour. So we'll have Dustin back on and talk some NIL and his thoughts on where college sports are headed. He agreed tonight. We're going to do that around the time that the Cincy Light is actually like on shelves and launched, and the official launch. We'll have him back on to talk about that stuff. Also, kind of doing a little work behind the scenes. You know who I think is also going to be involved in the Cincy Light launch?
I don't.
Dana Beers. I reached out to Dana. I said, hey, if I can get you involved in the launch of Cincy Light, are you in? He said, absolutely. Absolutely. Anything you need, I'm in. I think we're doing the thing, the little thing.
I'd like to be more involved with Dana Beers.
Yeah, Dana's great. Anytime I've ever reached out to him, he has been the nicest human on the planet.
Super fun.
Yeah. So I think we will see Dana involved with the launch of Cincy Light, and we're working on making that happen as well.
Good.
But we got a nightcap to do. We talked about all that stuff on the BCJ podcast. Make sure you go back and yes, Johnny. Make sure you go back and watch all that. But we like to branch out on this show and do things a little bit different. Talk about things that at least try to talk about things. We don't want to make this a recap podcast or a show where we talk about, hey, we did a show tonight, and then now we're going to talk about all the stuff we talked about on that show here. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Boom. There you
Let's do it.
You're in the driver's seat. There also was news today about NCAA and the return of NCAA, which I guess will be 2024, 2025.
Well, they're calling it 24.
Yeah.
It'll
be the 24 season.
It's supposed to be released this summer, July.
Really? Oh, I missed that. I thought last I had heard everything was being pushed to next summer.
No, that was last summer. That was why we started the Twitch channel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess I've lost track of time.
Yeah.
My wife died.
No,
Sorry.
this summer, July.
Okay. Let's go.
So that's why this is relevant. So they did say there was some news today, and I'm reading directly from an ESPN article by Michael Rothstein, ESPN staff writer. Essentially, that they're working to try and get the name, image, and likeness deals ongoing with everyone
Finalized, right?
Finalized, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to do this. Are they going to pay different players different amounts of money? Are they going to pay everyone the same amount of money? And it sounds like they're leaning more towards the latter than the former.
That makes the most sense. Like you just have
Sure,
a
except for maybe
standard rate.
except for maybe a cover athlete, right? You're going to have a
Sure.
cover athlete paid more than everyone else because they're on the cover. But even that should be one lump sum, or maybe you direct it because they're on the cover per, like a certain dollar amount per
Correct me
item
if
sold.
I'm wrong, but back in the day, at least, the guys that made the cover were guys who had essentially
Graduated.
they were done.
They were graduated.
Going to the NFL.
You could not be still in college and getting money on your name, image, and likeness. So you could not be a cover athlete unless you were already graduated. And
well,
you were.
but I guess like to counter that, like if you're EA Sports, wouldn't Caleb Williams be your cover athlete for this year?
Depends on how you're trying to do it.
He finished like he was runner up for the Heisman, like you know, like
Unless
he
you
won
want
the
to put,
Heisman, didn't he? He won the Heisman.
I think. I guess I just didn't care. I didn't care.
Right.
Well, and who knows if they go with a guy
who won the Heisman. But so he won the Heisman already, and he's coming back because he has to.
Maybe that's the guy you go with, or maybe you go with an athlete in the years since 14.
Denard Robinson?
Somebody between the years of 14 and now that was an outstanding athlete.
Will be like if you want to bet? You like to gamble? Betfred.
Not on that. Not on that.
Betfred.com. Promo code Bearcat. All caps. I would guess Caleb Williams will be the cover athlete for this product when it shows up in July.
That would make sense. And maybe that steers the voters to voting for somebody who graduates after the fact.
Right.
As EA kicks the voters money. Who knows? In any case, there are some things that transpired that are being reported today. Largely that some schools that were not in initially because they did not know how NIL was going to be handled, and NIL became a thing across the 50 states since it was originally announced.
Now, oh god,
hang on, I'm gonna drop a school that is not necessarily in that's gonna blow your fucking mind.
Okay,
we'll get to that. But schools that have been reported as now in that were not previously in, because I'm gonna guess, and I don't know that there's nothing in the article on this, but I'm gonna guess that maybe NIL was not solidified in those states until everything went through and all of that. But schools that are in, the first one mentioned here in this article, Wisconsin. So congratulations, Luke Fickell. You can pay your players based on NCAA. You're welcome.
But just a flat rate for everybody. Just everybody gets the same amount.
Nothing new there. Northwestern, congrats, Ben Bryant. You're also going to get paid on this. And I'm not kidding you. Those are the first two in this article. TCU, Fresno State, Tulane, welcome to the party. They are all now opting into the game as they were on the fence previously.
So what came out today is that like everybody's name, essentially, like the plan is for everybody to have their name in the game. It's not going. There's not going to be QB 12.
No.
Receiver 1.
That's not actually what was announced today. What was announced is every player has the option to opt in. Yeah. If you opt out, there will be a generic player
Why would you opt out?
Look, I'm just saying they have announced that if you opt out, there
Why would
will
you
be
opt out?
there will be a generic player name, number, and person in your stead. And I'm sure that they will also have roster edits to where you can edit the person in. So essentially, you're just throwing
not
money
making
away.
any money. You're just
Throwing
not making
money
the money.
away. But Notre Dame was on the fence initially. They did not know how NIL was going to go. And I'm reading this directly, a Notre Dame source told ESPN on Wednesday that the school had been in touch with EA Sports to help with NIL integration for the video game. It doesn't seem, though, that Notre Dame has made a decision on being in the game. Does that change everything on the game?
No.
If Notre Dame is not included.
No, because here's the thing.
It changes the schedules.
Well, no, Notre Dame would still be. I mean, what they'll just call them South Bend.
I don't know that you will have. I don't know that you'll have a generic team in that stead. I don't know that because it would just be a. At that point, it would be a.
You have to have them.
The team would be independent. Are you just going to call it Catholic University?
South Bend, like you just call them South Bend. The South Bend Golden Dome, like you do whatever, like you. It's like we talked about
South Bend Irish people. The South Bend Irish people.
The South Bend Scotsmen. Just to piss them off a little bit because
they're already mad. They're fighting. They're already fighting.
I don't think it changes much because if everybody else is involved and Notre Dame doesn't want to be, okay, that's fine.
I would think that would hurt your recruiting depending on how much these players are getting paid.
Sure. Well, I think in the NFL it's like $5,000 to $10,000.
I would imagine it would probably be more watered down.
Guess what? The Madden guys, $10,000 for some of them it's a lot of money. For most of them that have $1 million contracts, getting an extra $10,000 a year, that's nice. I'm sure it's good.
It's a Friday night out.
Right, it's good. In college, that's a significant amount of money.
I don't know that you're talking about 32 teams versus
140, somewhere around there. I think it's getting up to close to 140.
Depending on if they include any D2 or anything that you can potentially bring up to Division I, who knows how deep the game goes. Yeah, I don't know that. Those details have not been released. In any case, even if you're talking about somewhere in the realm of $2,500, $1,000 to $2,500 to $5,000, that's still
for a college kid, that's a good chunk of money.
Yes.
Even if you're making considerable NIL, like what we're hearing, $50,000, $100,000, like standard.
And maybe D1 kids are making more than D2 kids, but I imagine
but like
transfer portal is going to have to be a part of all of this.
If you are 19 years old and you get an extra $4,000 in your pocket, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna make it rain.
In the long run, that's not a whole lot of money. But at 19 years old, 4 racks.
Just because a video game came out and you're in it.
Right. You didn't have to do nothing.
Not nothing. They did say that face scans will potentially be available, but it's very hard when you have thousands of athletes to put face scans in.
Here's what I would guess would happen, Aaron.
They're
the relevant schools, the Power 5 schools, will have a thing where you go sit like, NCAA is here today.
Or it's going to be like when I scan my face in on my phone with 2K, you do it a couple times until it actually works, and you're like, oh, I don't look like the guy from the Goonies over here with my eyes offset and all of that. I mean,
fair.
At times, I've run into that. I'm not kidding. But, I mean, sure. Will there be some things that they work through in this first, especially in this first rendition, that they patch up on the second rendition?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
But one thing can be celebrated and one thing alone. So we are about to get the best game ever made back in whatever iteration it is. I'm not touting the new one as the best game ever, but back in the day, it was the best game.
The Bearcats will be wearing Nike on those jerseys. I'm just saying.
Should be fun.
That's the nightcap. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks to Galactic Fried Chicken. Brought to you by BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!